talk a little bit about meditation. And I'm going to draw today's lesson from Sogyal Rinpoche's The Tibetan Book of Living and Dying. And it's a good book. Very good book. One of the first books I read that was influenced by Buddhism.
What's his name?
Sogyal Rinpoche.
Oh, that's quite a name.
Yeah, he talks about his life growing up, and I think back in the 40s, maybe 30s or something like that. Talks about his teachers and everything in the book. But when we meditate, we've got those nasty thoughts that just keep moving through our head. And he tells us that somewhere between these thoughts is the nature of mind. He talks a lot about nature of mind. A lot of the Buddhist writings that I've come across talk about the nature of mind. And he tells us that between these thoughts, the nature of mind is revealed. Now, you've heard me talk a little bit about what is often referred to as pure consciousness, or a transcendental state. In these states, when we meditate, the brain goes through these different waves, these different wave patterns. And this transcendental state, this pure conscious state, is when the mind enters into that gamma wave zone. And the brain waves are moving very slowly. When we do our tones, it's a very low, I think it's a very high tone. Gamma's, I got it backwards. Gamma speeds up. But anyway, how often while meditating, we all meditate, right? You meditate, Ken? All right, so we're all on the same page here. How often, when you are meditating, do you discover that you're someplace that you're not?
Very few. I like it when I go, but it doesn't happen often.
What's it like?
I don't think there's words. There aren't words. It felt very natural.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, here I am. I'm in India. Okay, hi. And then boom, I'm back in South Bend. It's like, oh,
Crap. Yes. How about you, Sharon?
Yeah, and it tends to be pretty fleeting. It doesn't last for long. It just seems like it's just a moment.
Yeah, just a moment.
Yeah, just a moment. But it's kind of nice because it gives you a glimpse of something to think about.
how we really are
Yeah.
when we're not in this particular skin.
Yes. You're right, doesn't happen often. Wish it would happen a little more often. Of course, one would have to be meditating more often for that, in my case, for that to happen, so. But anyway, yes.
How about you, Ken?
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure what the question was, but I think I can take it. Yeah, I have a long meditation career. I meditate 40 years, twice a day, every day. And now that I've done that, I have to say the first 25 years was a real knockout. But the last 15 years was mostly I was trying to repeat the first part. Okay, trying to relive where I had been. Well, it doesn't work, and you know it doesn't work, and we've been counseled not to try to do that, but you still do it. When you close your eyes, you're still going to try to do it. You go back, because you know how good it is when is right. So that's mostly what I know, but I think I've talked about it before. I don't like to bore everybody with my own opinions. But yeah, I've gone as far as you can in meditation. Sorry, but I've crossed over from the relative to the absolute. And the absolute is where your breathing stops, your heart stops, your body reaches a state of no decay. I'm serious.
All of this stops. Yeah.
And when I came out of it, how can I say it? Well, it's so quiet when you're coming back, but then you're starting to come back into the relative world. And I was transformed for only 3 days, but it was a real experience being like that. You go back to our original self, is what it is, before the earth and the planet screwed everything up for you. And, you're back to your original self, that's all I can say. You can't talk about it. You can try to put it into words, choose not to put it into words, it doesn't work. It just is. And besides that one meditation I had, for the first 25 years, I was turning my body almost to stone. I mean, it was just, everything just slowed down, and I was just there. No thoughts, no nothing, just stone. Amazing. And that's why I kept up with it. But now I'm kind of back in the relative world, swinging the sword and whatever. But yeah, I always remember what it's like to be like that. You have a memory of what it's like. That's what keeps me going. So there's my nutshell thing. I've talked about it before, but it is difficult to put it into words.
Absolutely.
When I mean body reaches a state of no decay, that's what I mean. You're back to what the Hindus call the ground of all being. Beyond the world of experience. This is the field you're in when God calls you forth. That's where you come from. I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me know when you want to take over class.
Well, my spiritual advisor said I should write a book. She knows me.
You could.
I could.
Yes, you could. I'll read it.
How about you, Cindy? You've been in that state.
Well, I have to have a completely, keep every thought out of my mind completely. I mean, they try to come in, the thoughts do, but you have to shove them out. And even close the door on the thoughts like they're things. And once in a while, I can do mind expansion, and I think I talked to you, Ken, about that. One time I thought nobody did this but me, but he said it, and that's the first time I talked to you about was the mind expansion.
Yeah, that's one way of describing it.
That's pretty cool, but you have to hang on to it. You have to keep yourself there, and as long as you can. It's hard to do, but you can do it. And once you do that, you open up a whole world. I mean, once you can keep every thought out of your mind, then you can hear things from the other side. Until you do that, you can't hear anything.
Yeah.
They can't come into a negative space. They have to come into a active space.
How about you, Sandy? You experienced that in your meditations?
Well, I can't say that I get there a lot of the time, but the words that came to mind were, it's a sense of limitlessness and weightless, and I think just, like Sharon said, a glimpse of always will be there.
Right. The closest we get close every night. Every night we get close. If we could get past the airplanes. Dreaming is close, but it's not it. It's not it. Because in these instances, they call it pure consciousness. And science calls it the quantum realm. Because in the quantum realm, what does not exist? Everything does not exist in the quantum realm. Because everything emerges from the quantum realm. It's interesting. Yes?
Could I just throw one thing in? I'm not trying to say that I'm anything special. Because the reason that it was so profound for me is I had a very traumatic childhood. And I was carrying a lot that I didn't even know was there. And I started transcendental meditation around 1973 or 4, right in there. And I was ripe for it. That's what I'm trying to say. I was ripe for it. So it just cascaded on me. And I could just close my eyes and feel myself go down. No thoughts, no nothing. It was the most natural thing in the world to close my eyes and that went on for 25 years. And I had all kinds of stress relief. I was screaming, throwing my arms, as that was coming out of my system. And, I'm not doing good version, the scars are still there. I was soaking by now, I'd be floating on clouds, but I'm not. I'm just trying to say, I'm nothing special. I was just right for it at that time. So, that's one way of trying to justify why all that happened to me when I was young. And I think it was there for a reason. And it's propelled me on the path where I'm at now, even though I don't look like it. But I think right now I try to dance with the devil because that's what I'm good at. Confronting the dragon. That's it.
I just want to share something, Ken. Have you ever seen a mosaic?
Sure.
They're very beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah.
Guess what they're made of? Broken pieces.
Yeah.
Broken
Exactly.
pieces.
Exactly. Yeah.
Make a beautiful thing.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
So you are a mosaic.
Yeah. I know I have an idea. Yeah, you're right. It is.
Wow.
I could go on about this forever. But that's it in a nutshell. Yeah. I know things. So people, as soon as you say that, people say, okay, well, what do you know? And you can't say, I will say that truth cannot be put into words. Sorry. But it doesn't work. It just is.
The experience simply is. You're right. You're right. You go into it and oh, wow. And the moment you become aware of it, you're out of it. That quick. The moment you become aware of it. Science calls it the quantum realm. And they discovered that those people who conduct experiments, they're actually part of the experiment because they're influencing the experiment. We like to talk about this law of attraction, and it's this state that we get into, and when we get into that state, we're charged, and we can charge everything. The more you get into it, the more the more it gets into you, and life changes. Life changes. Your experience of life changes. And he tells us that the problems that we encounter with meditation, bliss, clarity, absence of thought, We experience those, right? Yeah, how's it feel? Feels good?
Yep.
All that stress just kind of, whoosh, it's gone. And what he tells us is that these can easily become distractions. And what happens with distractions? What do distractions do for us? Anybody?
Take you away from your goal.
They take you away.
Yeah.
They take you away. So he tells us not to get caught up in that. The experience is good. The experience is good. But that experience should not be the purpose for your traveling through meditation. Because remember, meditation is the method. It's the path. And that path has many doors on it. And you want to keep that in mind. Because if we become attached to these distractions such as these, we tend to create a new level of awareness. Well, not a new level of awareness, a different resonance. We change. Everything we do changes us. The way we feel. We talked about self-esteem. You know, the way we feel about ourselves. Everything changes. The experience that we have when we meditate changes. That exposure to pure consciousness, it changes us. But the thing that we can hang on to when we have that experience is, as Cindy said, that expansion of mind. And with that expansion of mind, what does that mean? Open things up. What happens when you open the door?
Things come in.
Things come in. Yes. Information comes in. Everything's information. When you open the door, the insect that comes in, that's information. The cat that slips in, that's information. As your mind expands, as your awareness expands, information comes in. Those souls that we talk about, that we dream about, that we hear, they're able to come in because there's always something that's what? Not only do things rush in when you open the door, but
Your energy goes out. Things go out.
things go out. Things go out when you open the door. So as your mind expands, not only is that information coming in, but all that crap you held on to is being released and is dispersed. And you know what the nice thing about crap is? It's good fertilizer.
I was about to say that.
It's good fertilizer.
I don't want to take over the class, but I can't help it. You know what you're talking about. I was having that dream maybe 10 years ago. All night in this dream, I was pushing on a door. And there's something trying to get out from that door. And I spent all night pushing on that door in this dream. I couldn't take it anymore. And I let the door go. And the door went slack. And I moved around to the crack of the door there. And I just took my little finger and I opened the door and looked at it. And there was the blackest person you ever saw in your life. That's her shadow. And he said to me, in a sweet, gentle voice, I just want to be recognized.
Oh.
Just what you're talking about.
There's a story, and I forget where I read it, but I know I read it someplace. But there's a story that when you reach this threshold, you get to that point. For Ken, it was that screen door that he was fighting, but you get to a point, and you come to a guard. There's this threshold. You come to the guard. And you have to get past the guard in order to get to where you want to be. And you have to subdue the guard. You have to do something because that guard's job is to keep you out. And you know who that guard is?
Yourself.
Exactly. Yourself. Now here's something very interesting here. Many spiritual practitioners, like us, like me, lack the knowledge to integrate meditation with everyday life. You know, one of the Gnostic Gospels, Jesus tells us, make the inside like the outside, and the outside like the inside. I know I've talked about it a few times, but, you know, every time I spout that a little bit, does it make any sense? Yes?
To me,
Cool. Explain it.
well,
Pop quiz.
hearing it, saying it, it's not easy.
No.
So it makes sense, but in reality, it's extremely difficult. I mean, maybe you can do it temporarily for a little while. But I'm not saying, I don't know how you could be that way all the time. If you've practiced enough.
Here's the guard,
Okay.
and here's you. You have to get past the guard. So, how do you get past the guard? Or let me put it to you a different way. Okay, here you are, you've taken your finger and you creak that screen door open just a little bit, and there's this black person, deepest black you've ever seen. How do you get past them?
Invite them in.
Yes!
Have them sit down, give them a cup of coffee, and sneak out.
Well,
Actually, I'd run out.
I wouldn't say sneak out.
I'd slam
But
the door open and run off.
You got it right. You invite them in for a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, a beer, whatever. You invite them in.
You embrace them.
You embrace them.
That's what they want.
Exactly.
They just want to be recognized.
Exactly. And he tells us that the key to bring meditation into everyday life is to be present in all that you do. Be who you are all the time. And yes, you can do it. But first, you have to invite them in and sit down with them and have a cup of coffee. It's like our baggage exercise that we had a few weeks ago. You get to know your demon. What does your demon want? And then you give them what they want. Your demon wants attention. You shower them with attention. And what happens? What happens when you eat too much of a good thing? You know, oh, I like pie. Yes, yes. When you're on your third pie,
You get bored with it, you get sick of it.
precisely. Precisely. So what is the exercise of meditation? Anybody?
Keep walking on your path.
That's one.
Live in the moment.
Live in the moment, that's another. Threshold, screen door, guard, shadow person.
Let them in, let them join you.
Get to know yourself.
I'm going to throw this out, it's sticking in my mind, but one of the great spiritual writers that we have is William Shakespeare. Tragedies. He covered everything. short story class with this learned person, and she was talking about short stories, because that's what she does. She said, everything we're doing here is just a rehash, because William Shakespeare has already done everything.
Wow.
When I was talking about being right for a situation as King Lear, that's what King Lear was all about, being right, and taking the move when you can, because you're right for it. If you don't, you lose the flood.
Yeah. When you're ready for it, you'll know it. But will you have the courage to step into it? Or to allow it to step into you? Either one works. But the question is, will you have the courage to allow it to happen? I know better, and yet I still, I don't know about this.
Fear keeps you from it.
Fear keeps you from it, but what is it about fear what's the message fear has for us? I don't know what this is, so I'm afraid of it. But once I know what it is, I'm no longer afraid. So any last thoughts? Cindy, any last thoughts?
When I meditate, I meditate a lot, but I can't even say I'm meditating as I'm going any thought in my mind. Just completely empty. And once I do that, then I'm there.
That's it. Thoughts run through your head. As long as you don't grab onto them, the flow of thoughts will slow down until it appears to where there are no thoughts at all. How about you, Sandy? Any last thoughts?
I would just like what you just said about the thoughts. I never really looked at it that way, but that's a very encouraging statement. I'm always bombarded with thoughts. So that's a very encouraging statement.
The purpose of mind is to generate ideas. That's its purpose. But as long as you do not grab onto those ideas, to those thoughts, then the flow will slow down. It doesn't stop. It never stops. But it does reach a point to where it may appear to stop. Any closing thoughts, Beth?
I was just thinking, I enjoyed this, enjoyed the interactiveness. It's not E.J. Turtok or whatever his name is. It's a nice break.
Yes, I listened. Sometimes I get carried away. And I need a nudge and a reminder. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't think you get carried away. I think you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but if nobody understands what I'm saying, then I'm about as worthless as a wart on a hog.
We're dumbfounded.
Yeah, and that does you no good. I mean, I know what I'm talking about, but if nobody else does, I'm utterly worthless.
You're worth it.
So, any closing thoughts, Sharon?
Oh, this was all, yeah, I'm happy with everything I just heard, yeah, all good.
Good. How about you, Ken?
No, I've done enough. I'm drained.
Oh.
Okay, I will leave you with this. Many come to meditation with expectations of visions and other supernatural events. The path of transformation through meditation is slow and subtle, meaning you won't realize that you've changed until it comes to mind, because you won't realize it. It's like the psychologist asking you, so have you noticed any changes in your personality? A person that notices changes in their personality is not wholly there. So I also thank you for allowing me to share this